So let's say a student in your classroom breaks a class rule, and when you go to approach that student to enforce a consequence, they deny their involvement completely. They look you in the eye and they lie to you. They act shocked that you would even think that they would be involved in this misbehavior. And here's the thing, especially in this day and age, students have learned that the more aggressive they are, the more shocked they appear, the more they fight you, the greater chance that adult is going to back off and then just remind them and not give them a consequence. So in today's video, what we're going to talk about is the common response when a student lies to you and denies misbehavior. What teachers commonly do, how they respond, and it's kind of human nature. It's built into us how we normally respond. Why this is a mistake. The big concern that teachers have over this situation, I'm going to explain that when we get there. And then a 3-step solution that will fix the problem in the moment and also stop the lying and denying happening in your classroom nearly completely. Nothing is guaranteed, but it will knock down the chances of this happening almost to zero. Finally, I'm going to give you a key takeaway at the end of the video. Before we get there, though, please do me a favor and subscribe to this channel. Hit the like button and leave a comment. I would really, really appreciate it. Okay, so let's say that your class is entering your classroom and you notice a student, let's call him Jeremy. He's kicking the heels of the student in front of him. This is clearly breaking one of your class rules. You watch him, you wait until he sits down, and then as you approach, he sees you coming and he's already denying it. He's already setting his battle lines. As it's coming out of your mouth, he's interrupting, looking you in the eye again, and lying. The most common response in this situation, and it's something that's instinctual, is that we will argue back. And a lot of times we feel like, well, I don't even have a choice. He's already arguing before I even get there. I'm in an argument before I even say a word. And it's really, really easy in this sort of situation to get pulled into a protracted argument with this student. And, it's one of those things that just kind of goes back and forth. And then you get to the point where you cut your losses and you say, okay, well, I'm just going to give you a reminder then. And then you move on because you've got teaching to do. But here's the thing, and the big concern is what I'm going to tell you. So you are, as a teacher of your classroom, you are the leader of your classroom. And you are paid to make a lot of decisions. And you are there to protect learning and enjoyment of all students, protecting their right to learn in your classroom. And so you have to be strong. You have to be a leader, and you have to be bold in setting your parameters. Now, we've talked about this in the future. We've talked about rules and consequences and that sort of thing. I should say in the past, we've gone over this in previous videos. But here's the thing. Teachers will say to me, I need proof in order to convince the student that they misbehaved. I have to have witnesses, or I have to be able to show that student was misbehaving. No, you don't. The only proof you need, again, this is the big concern, the only proof you need is you. If you saw it, if you were a witness to the misbehavior, that's all the proof you need, and you don't need to explain anything to that student as long as you taught your classroom management plan, as long as that student knows that kicking the heels in front of him was breaking a rule. And of course, you have established this in the beginning of the school year. And so once that's established, your eyes are your only proof, and you don't have to explain it to that student. And so the solution then, if you have the proof, the solution is to first make sure that you know the truth. Know the truth. And really, the only way, or the one way to ensure that this happens, is that it's always smart when you see misbehavior to, unless it's dangerous, is to let it play out a little bit. Make sure you're in position to watch it, that you see, make sure you know you're seeing what you're seeing, you're actually witnessing it. So many teachers run toward misbehavior in an effort to stop it from happening. And this is a mistake. So you only want to do that if if there's a fight or something dangerous. Obviously, you want to put a stop to it. And how to do that is something we can talk about in a future video. But for 99% of the cases, your job is to watch it happening. So Jeremy is kicking the heels in front of him. As soon as you notice or you see his body language, you're not going to rush toward it. Instead, you're going to look down, you're going to watch him do it and establish it's being done. So your first step always is to allow it to play out, observe, know the truth. So now that you have the proof, all you need to do is to enforce. And at Smart Classroom Management, if you're a follower, you know the way we enforce is we just inform the student of the consequence. That's it. You say, Jeremy, you broke rule number 3, and that's it. It doesn't matter what that student is saying or what's coming out of their mouth. And here's the thing, and we're going to talk about this in the key takeaway, but if you do this all the time and you show your students through modeling and you let them know that you'll always enforce a consequence in the exact same way, then they won't argue when they see you coming. They won't argue back when you do this. So your only job is to know the truth, enforce. And enforcement is really easy. Matter-of-factly, you approach and you say, Jeremy, you have a warning, or you must go to timeout because of you broke rule number 3. Now, in the beginning of the school year, you may want to detail what you saw. So you may say, because you were kicking the heels of Alex in front of you, you've broken rule number 3. Okay? After a while, you don't need to do that because the students know the rules so well, they know they broke a rule. Jeremy knows he broke a rule. All you're doing is informing the enforcement of it. So you're informing of the consequence. And then the last step is you're going to move on. So a lot of arguing happens when the teacher informs the student of the consequence and then waits for a response. This is also really, really common. You never wait for a response. There's no reason to. It wastes time. And the more you stand in front of the student, the more you're going to feel inclined to add your 2 cents. The more you're going to want to give them a dirty look, tell them, give them a lecture or this kind of thing, which which makes the consequence less effective. You want the consequence to do its job without your interference. This is something we've talked about here on this channel and will also in the future. So you move on, meaning you turn and walk away. You walk up and say you have a warning for breaking rule number 3, and then you just turn and you continue with what you were doing. It wastes 0 time. It's the by far the most effective way to shift responsibility, the most effective way to ensure that student takes responsibility for their actions. Okay? So instead of arguing, instead of feeling as if you need proof, you're going to make sure you know the truth, enforce calmly, and move on as if nothing happened. And here's the big takeaway. And this takeaway is going to allow you to avoid a mountain of headaches. And the takeaway is that you're going to do these 3 steps, the same way for every single misbehavior. These 3 steps, no matter what, you'll do the same. You'll be like a broken record, just the exact same way every single time, and walk away. And if you do this, again, students take responsibility. You are the leader who has determined what breaking rules looks like. You've explained it to your students, and you are just a referee following through, doing what you said you were going to do. The result is that misbehavior drops, and then arguing, battling back, and denying almost never ever happens. Okay, I hope this video helps. I hope you're having a great week, and I'll see you next time.